Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Lauren. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're talking all about cozy, comfy, holiday scents. I'm so excited. Most of these are gourmand or have like a boozy note to them. And for me, all of these specifically though, remind me of the holidays and just feel so cozy around this time of year. They're great like winter gourmands and I'm excited to share them with you. I didn't put everything that could apply in here because I didn't want to repeat tons of fragrances like in my first video on here, my top 10. There's a few in there that totally fit this category, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of variety. I hope you guys enjoy, but I'd love to know what your cozy holiday scents are down below. I did make a short also, so this is kind of the extended version of this, and we're getting into Christmas. I think I'm gonna be posting this on December 1st, so I feel like the winter holidays are in full swing. We're really leading up to them, so I thought it would be fun, and if you have any of these, it might be a good time to bust them out and, you know, just relive some holiday memories. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Skylar's Fall Cashmere first because this was in my short, and I also feel like this is more for early fall. So, you know, in the depths of winter, it's pushing it, I think. But this is an almondy, really spicy, cinnamony scent. Oh my gosh. And literally when I smell this, it is just pure fall time, leaves turning red. It really is the epitome of the fall holidays are coming, maybe right before Thanksgiving, going into Christmas type of stuff. At least for me and my memories. Oh my gosh. The cinnamon in here is really prominent, and I feel like this is a creamier, slightly sweeter version of Leaves from Bath & Body Works, the candle. Think that. So even those cinnamony pine cones, or maybe someone's making a cinnamon cider on the stove type of thing, definitely all of those vibes coming out in this. In the past, I've mentioned how this would be a good candle, and I do think that, but I actually have the candle of this and I don't like it nearly as much as the perfume. So I actually do like the perfume more than candle. You know, you think sometimes you're gonna like something one way and then it actually happens and you're like, maybe not. No, maybe not. This also pairs really, really great if you don't like how spicy it is, because I feel like for a long time I wasn't super into spicy scents. Putting a little bit of Vanilla Sky from Skylar with it is a great way to kind of tone down the spiciness, add a little more sweetness, and it's just a delicious combination. So if you have both or want to try those out, that's a good combo. I feel like that's everything I really have to say about this. I think it's a pretty straightforward scent. There's amber, sandalwood. I think the matcha tea, there's kind of some matcha tea in here, is giving it a little bit of creaminess actually, as well as I think the sandalwood and vanilla. There's clove in here too, which is adding to that spiciness. It's just a great one and just immediately puts you in the spirit immediately. It's a hot apple cider. I definitely have a few vanillas in here naturally. I love vanilla. So I decided to put vanilla bourbon in here from Mix Bar. This is a really affordable scent, but I think it's a really great one if you're looking for a really rich, creamy vanilla that has a bit of I think there might be black pepper in here. That's kind of what I get. There's a spiciness in here. And a lot of people compare this scent to By the Fireplace from Replica, which I'm not including in here, but it would make obviously an amazing scent for the holidays. But how many times do you need to hear me talk about that scent? I'm trying to space it out, okay? The vanilla in here is so creamy and so good. It's definitely a dense whipped vanilla to me. There is a little bit of something kind of smoky going on and a little bit spicy. Again, I think it's the black pepper. But to me, on my skin, this does not wear actually the same as By the Fireplace. I don't get something super spicy from By the Fireplace. I just get woody and smoky. But from this, I get something that does lean almost more like a patchouli and vanilla. So it's almost a mix to me of Dark as Night from Henry Rose and By the Fireplace from Replica. I think it's if those two had a baby. You know, it's slight differences here, what we're talking about, but that's just how I read it. Obviously, that's how all this is, and I'm not a professional. I'm literally just telling you what I think and what I smell. That's it. Okay, anyway, this one's really delicious, and again, such a great, great, great price. You cannot beat the price on this, and I also find it has decent wear time. This is actually not one that I can wear to bed. I usually will wear a lot of vanillas to sleep or cozying around, but I find this one, you know, it's pretty full-bodied, and so for sleeping, no way. Too much. I keep smelling it. I'm like, dear God, I gotta go to bed at some point. Stop keeping me up. But I do think this would keep you warm at night, if you're going out in your scarf, in your jacket, that type of stuff. Really great. Or even being at home around the house, around the fireplace, making yourself hot cocoa, I love that fantasy for all of us. So I definitely think vanilla bourbon fits the bill, and always try to, when I can, mention some affordable perfumes because there are good affordable perfumes out there. I feel like for me, they're a little bit harder to come by, but I'm ready to find them, you know? Like I want to find those gems. I mean, I just don't think this video would be complete without Angel Share. Like it wouldn't be right not to put this in a holiday cozy gourmand fragrances video. Like it just wouldn't. This is a new addition to my collection this year, but I've been wanting it for a while. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what this smells like, and hopefully a lot of you have it at home. But Angel Share is this boozy, appley, cinnamony scent. This has cognac in the top. It's very boozy. Like you gotta like a liquor note, okay? I feel like when I first smell this, like it really does remind me of like when you take a shot almost, or you're, you know, maybe you're sipping it, but maybe you're taking a little more. How that kind of warms your throat as it goes down. I feel like I get a little bit of that in this fragrance. Like definitely something a little reminiscent there. There's also a spicy cinnamon note, but I get something a little more powdery in this, and I definitely get the powderiness more and more in the dry down as well. I think that might be the tonka bean in here, but there's also sandalwood and vanilla. I feel like all of these fragrances have sandalwood. I freaking love sandalwood. I love sandalwood so much. Ooh, but this just has such a beautiful warmth to it, and I definitely get like this kind of apple pie filling. Something about this, it gives off that like gooey apple pieces in that kind of semi-translucent cinnamon filling, and specifically Sam thinks it's like the McDonald's cinnamon, apple cinnamon pies. I've never had one of those, so I don't know if that's true, but that's what he says. But it is so good, so rich, such a beautiful gourmand, and I also feel like even if you're someone who doesn't love like really realistic foodie scent, I feel like this kind of walks the line really beautifully where it is a little more perfumey, but at the same time is still kind of realistic to food, but not so much so that it's a little what I call unrefined, which again, I don't love that because I'm over here like, please, and I will mention one of those probably next where, you know, I feel like a lot of people might not like it or they might be turned off by it, but I think this one really does a good job of like walking that line. So I love Angel Share, such a great one. I mean, even the bottle, like, I love it. I think I'm gonna talk about another boozy one while we're here. This one's not nearly as gourmand as all the other ones. It does have, I think if it's whiskey, let's look it up. Yeah, it's bourbon whiskey in here. This is, a beautiful aromatic pine scent. It has this coolness to it. This one doesn't give you warmth, but there's something about it. There's this like boozy note to it, but really I get more of like a literal picture. Like I can picture in my head a forest scene where there's this really beautiful lush green pine trees with a little bit of snow on the ground, some snow on the branches. Maybe I'm at a ski lodge. Like that's kind of the vibe. And I even smell the coolness in here. There's some aromatics. There's juniper berry in here. There's some spices as well, but it like smells cold. Like you smell that fresh air, like you're out in nature in winter. I absolutely love it. It's like a refreshing, rejuvenating scent. There's something maybe a little bit masculine about it, but I think it's completely unisex, and there's still a nice sweetness to it. And I'm just a big fan of pine scents, to be honest, which I'm looking at the notes here, and technically there is no actual pine, but I definitely like get pine tree from this. There's a little bit of praline as well. So there are some like foodie notes in here. The base though is woody, some vanilla, a little bit of musk, and even a little bit of patchouli, but don't be scared. Like if you're not into patchouli, I think you could still definitely like this. I just feel like this is such an atmospheric perfume that puts you in a place as soon as you smell it, and I really couldn't picture making like this bigger video without mentioning it, even though it doesn't necessarily give you like this super warm and cozy. This gives you more like you've been out exploring in the winter time, but still good memories, still around the holidays. All right, let's talk about Yog Nog from Lush. Unfortunately, this is like really hard to get your hands on. I was lucky enough to get this in the Lush Kitchen subscription box. I thought I was only being subscribed to the October box, but I got the November box, and I'm actually really glad for that mistake, because if not, I would have never tried Yog Nog, and oh my gosh, this is amazing. I believe this is fashioned after eggnog, and this is creamy. Like there is something almost eggy, or like, I don't want to say funky, because it's not like in a bad way. It's just really rich, really creamy, almost like cream cheesy, like creme brulee, but you're getting that like eggy cream, you know? Very sweet. And then there's this nice spice as well. I find on the dry down that this, what feels like a cinnamony-ness, mixes with the really lactonic and kind of creaminess of this fragrance, and just an unexpected and kind of odd, but really comforting way, at least to me. I could totally see people not liking this. Sam does not enjoy this fragrance, and I feel bad for him because like I'm going to wear it. Like I love this so much. I also feel like it lasts a pretty long time on me, so it sticks around. I just love when I can find fragrances that really get across that creaminess, you know, and almost like a milkiness to them. And this definitely has that. It's very like lactonic to me. And in the dry down, I also get something almost a little more coconutty, and I love that as well. And I think paired with that spiciness, it's just a little unexpected, a little bit different, very cozy, very much the holidays, and I just love it. It's a little bit forward and a little bit bold, I think, but absolutely beautiful. So glad to get my hands on it. I think you can maybe find this on Mercari, you know, for other people selling their perfumes from the box, but maybe, hopefully it'll come out around this time. I don't really know much about like Lush and their perfumes, but if you can get your hands on this, it's a really good one. I wouldn't pay like tons of money for it, but it really is delicious. And I think I found something very similar, so I just need to test that and then I'll let you know, but I might have found something maybe that's more available, because again, unfortunately, that one's a little harder to get. More creamy, lactonic things. Let's go. I have Zadig and Voltaire. This is her. This one is a creamy vanilla sandalwood chestnut whipped cream scent. It is so delicious. This one's a little bit lighter than the other fragrances here, at least to me. Like it doesn't have a bunch of like heavy notes. Instead, I think there's like a silk blossom or some type of floral in here that I actually find gives this, as much as it is creamy and milky smelling, it has like this kind of freshness to it that I think is really nice. It's somehow like a little showery, but in a good way. Sometimes I don't love that in perfumes, or I associate it more with like celebrity scents, but it's just beautiful. It's very unique. So many people I know really enjoy this fragrance like in real life, and it's been raved about here on YouTube. Like I know quite a few people know about this, and I think it's a perfect one for cozying up. It doesn't have a ton of warmth and there's no spiciness, so if some of those like spicier notes like clove, cinnamon, cardamom kind of turn you off or you don't like those too much, this might be a way to go, but you're gonna wanna like something creamy for sure, because it's creamy. It's like milky smelling, and I love that in a perfume. I love it, but it's a bizarre one. This is definitely weird. I think like for a designer scent, I definitely think it has like its own kind of perspective. All right, the last kind of milky fragrance we're going to be talking about, this one is Commodities Milk. I have it in the Personal, I think is what it is. They have 3 different like scent spaces that they do. I'll leave my commodity video that I made a little bit ago. It's on my other channel. I think in the next year I'm going to be working on like updating some of those videos and bringing them here on this channel, but I went through the whole sampler packet if you want to know my thoughts just more on the house. And I'm also an affiliate with Commodities, so I'll have a code down below if you're interested. But Milk is so good. Now I get from this Personal Space one, there's something a little bit like powdery going on, and I don't want to say spicy because it's not quite spicy, but there's this really beautiful sweetness. And I find in here it's not like super dense and milky in the Personal Space one. It's a little bit lighter. There's more of like a woodiness going on and a sweetness to that. This literally has a note of milk. It has marshmallow in it. There's like a muskiness and a powderiness to it. I think that's more what it is. It's not necessarily spicy, but the way the powder comes off, it has like a grittiness to my nose. I don't know if that makes sense. It's a really beautiful one, and I actually love this the most as a layering perfume. So if something is woody, has some vanilla, or has, you know, some of those notes to it, but I want to like bring them out more, pairing Milk with them in the Personal is a really great way that I found to just add a little more sweetness. Sometimes I just want a little bit more. On its own, it's also good, but I do think like my absolute favorite way is pairing it. That's like perfection. But honestly, all of the Milks are good. All of them are really good. If you want something richer, more bold on its own, go up to the bold, or even in the expressive, it's really great too. And I think you get a little more spices going on. At least that's what I remember just off the top of my head. But Milk for sure. I mean, I go straight to even like Santa milk and cookies type of stuff, you know what I mean? But it's not like so legitimate milk. It's not like fresh cream from Philosophy. I don't know how to feel about that. What do you guys think about that fragrance? I have this tiny half ounce, and I don't know about it, man. Like it doesn't have enough sweetness, so it really does kind of smell like, you know, cream, like only cream. It's interesting. Tell me what you think of it. Anyway, we only have 2 more fragrances to talk about. Next, I'm going to talk about Exidolo Love and Crime. This is such a beautiful, spicy, vanilla, kind of lemon or citrus cake type of scent. So dense. This is a pound cake, okay? This is not an angel food cake. This is like thick. It's so thick, and it is so good. There are spices in here. I think there's star anise in here, and you do get that spice, which just adds such a beautiful richness. There's also some cacao, and I do feel like you smell some of that chocolatiness and the vanilla. It's a nice mix though. I don't feel like it ever goes too chocolatey, but it's like a cocoa powder type of smell that adds to the vanilla in here to me. Ooh, and it is so good. This one lasts forever on my skin. It's almost even kind of like when I spray it, I mean, you can see how dark the liquid is, but this will kind of be oily on me. Like if I spray it here, I can like feel the oils on my skin. This is very similar, a lot of people say, to Lyra from Xerjoff, but Lyra gets a little more powdery than I feel like this does in the dry down and like on my skin. So I prefer this one. I just love the citruses in here, but it's not too fruity. It's just a beautiful, dense vanilla with a little bit more going on if you don't want just like a pure vanilla. And if you haven't smelled this and you love Gourmands, I definitely think you should try it out. It only comes in this size. The packaging's really, you know, different. I love that about it. It's like its own little special thing in my collection, and it's perfect for, I feel like, colder weather. It really stands out and stands up against the cold. So that one's definitely a good holiday cozy scent. All right, last we have a body mist. I love my Bath & Body Works body mist, and Fireside Flurries I feel like is the best one to me. That fits more the gourmand, more foodie and cozy holiday scents that I was going for specifically for this video. It's so good to me. This is like sweet graham crackers with almost like a vanilla frosting kind of thing going on. I love it. Like think of like Teddy Grahams. Like that's what I get from this. The notes in here are toasted marshmallow, pink lavender, and cashmere woods. I get that marshmallow, but it's like a marshmallow cream. There's definitely a sugared quality to it. I feel like the lavender just makes it a little bit cozy and doesn't make it go too far off into like food land. Although again, I get something very like graham crackery from this fragrance, and it's just amazing. I have this in the body wash too, and I absolutely love using that, especially in the colder months when I'm taking a shower. It is just like the best. It's the best in the shower. I love layering them, but this definitely immediately actually puts me into like a holiday mood. It's not just sweet. It specifically kind of like brings up gingerbread men or something like that, you know? It's a really great body mist from Bath & Body Works, and if you're into sweet scents, gourmand scents, and you haven't checked out Bath & Body Works stuff, I would check that one out. They have a few good ones. I have a video on my top 10 fragrance mists from Bath & Body Works that I made more recently, so I'll also leave that link down below. It's on my other channel. I don't think I'll update that one too soon because like they haven't changed really. But you'll definitely see more Bath & Body Works or just like in general fragrance mists on the channel because I do really like them. And I know I have a lot of niche perfumes and I love my niche. I love just like actual perfumes, but body mists have a place. Not only are they more affordable, but I really do like them for more just being around the house, something a little more casual, like where I don't want to have to pick a scent that is my scent of the day. Like I can just, you know, spray this on in a couple hours, like spray something new, like try something else out. I also love my body mist for sleeping because they don't have a ton of longevity. I can just enjoy them and then, you know, doze off to bed, no big deal. So Fireside Flurries, and also a whole speech on Bath & Body Works body mist. Okay. Anyway, those are my picks out of my collection for some cozy holiday type scents. All of these like specifically really do bring up like a holiday memory or a specific time of year. I can picture Christmas lights and holiday decorations and walking around with hot cocoa, and there's just something kind of festive about all of them in a way that's pretty unique, even amongst like gourmands that work well for winter. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'd love to know any of your picks. Do you share some of these or do you have any new ones? Let me know down below. Let us know. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you want more fragrance content, definitely subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. I really appreciate you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.